Okay, so this is 8:55. Welcome back to Jet's Facebook Live, which is a public service Sunday night, 9 p.m. Singapore time, or 9 a.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, regardless of where you are from. And I'm going to start at 9 p.m. So now it's 8:56, 4 more minutes. I just want to check the equipment to make sure that there's no tech failure. And some of you wonder why I didn't do Facebook Live in the last 4 weeks. Well, primarily it is because I was involved in, some of you may be aware, Unstoppable Virtual Summit. We have just finished it last Sunday with a few counts of 5 digits, four languages, 5 countries, broadcast to quite a lot of people. So it's a project that our team worked very hard for 1 month, and this is the reason why I couldn't squeeze more time to do my Facebook Live. Now that this is over, I'm happy that I can come back to do my routine, which is to talk about things that happened in the last 7 days. And I will start at sharp 9 p.m. Okay, so don't worry, just hang out for a while. I'm waiting for my equipment to be tested, make sure it's okay. So if you are actually watching it right now, I see people coming in. So feel free to comment on the chat and let me know where you are from, where you're hanging out. That would be great. Okay, so that would be great. So I'm Jack. I've got even a love sign. Thank you very much. So I don't know whether you can hear. If you can hear me, also comment so that you know that the sound is alright. So as far as I can see on eCam, the sound system is okay. So I'll begin in just 2 minutes. Okay, so you can let me know where you hang out from. That would be great. At the same time, I'm also watching my another device, my iPhone, so that I can check the traffic. Okay, so I do see who is here, and just a couple of things about the Unstoppable Global Virtual Summit. It is one of the biggest events that in my life. Our team is preparing and finished holding it last week. And some of you may find that doing this global summit is not easy. And I must admit that we have lots of sweat, lots of hard time. So Katie, thank you. All right, so it is not easy to run a global summit. The thing is, okay, thank you, Sue, awesome. So global summit is theoretically easy to do, but when you run to that kind of scale with so many speakers, like 20 over speakers, basically most of them are from North America, and they're speaking in our time zone, the amount of coordination work behind the scene is huge. So I hope that some of you who have been to the Global Summit truly enjoy, and you understand that behind the scene we have lots of sweat. It's not easy, but after this event we are now able to claim that we are one of the world leading virtual summit organizer, because we did a 5,000 already. So the question is that what is our next big game? Some of you may be asking what is our next big one. David is planning, so stay tuned. Yes, we are going to make a bigger one. I don't know how big it will be. It can be freaking big, but the thing is this: we are not afraid of anything. Not to say anything is not afraid, but with more time to plan, honestly, we are able to do it much better. So thank you for those of you who were in Unstoppables. I truly thank you for supporting us. We make a lot of mistakes, and also some of you may find that our organization is not pretty well planned, but I just seek your understanding that within that period of time for our preparation, we have done our best, and there's so much we can learn. Okay, thank you. So I acknowledge Sharon from Singapore. Hi, how are you? Unstoppable. So the moment I see your Facebook logo with Unstoppable, probably I can tell you are from Unstoppable. All right, so it's 9 o'clock. So tonight's topic is about, hi Jason, how are you? So the topic is about Robert Herjavec, one of the sharks from Shark Tank. I happened to chance upon this post from another Facebook group, and this is something that I wasn't aware. So I found that these 5 essential tips look cool, and the moment I saw this, I found that it might be explained. I can explain it by bank code. So I thought that it could be cool to actually use Banco to explain what's going on. And some of you, in my presentation, you know that I speak about Banco, and maybe you may not be aware before my presentation, because in fact, the story was we have held a 4-week masterclass back in end March and early April. So we did a 4-week masterclass. It is a very big masterclass with 2,000 people worldwide watching, and that actually attracted quite a number of people to be associated with and more exposed to bank. But from the Unstoppable Global Summit, I realized that there's still a portion of people who are not really aware of Banco. So I decided to do this topic in Unstoppable. And thank you for those who said the presentation was interesting. And some of you said it's systematic, partly because of the way I present. At the same time, it's enlightening. When I hear all this words, it makes me feel, well, I should do more. Because at the end of the day, the key point, as I said on the narration, is that to master Banco is not just to learn, because learning by not doing it is nothing. We are having too much information on the internet. So I want you to understand that mastering Banco requires us, me included, 3 things. Number 1, crack the code, which a lot of you have done this. Congratulations. So if you haven't cracked the code, if you still don't know what I'm talking about, after the end of this Facebook Live, I'm happy to put the link down for you to crack the code. And what will happen is that you will be getting something like this. It is a 24-page Banco personality report, which is totally free of charge. It's 24-page. It's not kidding you. It's color. If you would like to print it in color, by all means. But the key thing about this report is to explain to you who are you, what's your value, and how you can use your value to charter your business life as well as your personal life. So this is something that you can look forward to once you have cracked the code. Is that useful? Well, to a large extent, it is useful because it's always the first step. But the thing is this, having read this doesn't mean that you know Banco, because there's a huge curriculum behind. So my part of doing this public service is to share with you how Jack here, as a certified and licensed trainer with Codebreaker Technology, one of the 3 licensed trainers in Singapore, and by the way, there's no licensed trainer in Malaysia for the time being, so I'm also responsible for the Malaysian market. Oh, Mamie is actually watching, so for those who want to acknowledge Mamie is actually our director of coaching from Codebreaker Technology. At the same time, she is our nurturing icon. So I am the knowledge icon, and Mamie is actually the knowledge icon. So I want to acknowledge her because she has done great service to the community, and it's a Sunday for her. I hope that it's not too hot for you. Thank you very much. And meanwhile, let me continue. So I'm from Singapore. So just happened today, and I think the broadcast will happen just in 26 minutes time. So I want to show you this first. This is pretty interesting. That is Mr. Chan Chung Sing, who is the Ministry of Trade and Technology, okay, MTI, has broadcast a national speech today. It's actually done, but at 9:30, Channel 8 is going to show the broadcast again. So I thought it's a live broadcast. It's not. He has done it already. So hi, Mamie. Thank you very much. You're good. All right. So I want to start with this signal about Singapore situation. So because I'm from Singapore, so my heart goes to Singapore. So Mr. Chan, the Ministry for Trade and Industry, actually said that Singapore is going to tighten up the belt to step up to create lots of jobs. So one thing that is pretty interesting to know is Singapore government has confidently announced that they are working on to create 100,000 jobs. I was like, huh? 100,000 jobs. The focus of the Singapore market is really on creation of jobs. So if it is what you are looking for in terms of businesses, there are opportunities. The reason why we say there's opportunity, why I say there's opportunity, it is because you can see that the government is really working very hard to create jobs, which is a good sign. And then in order for people to be hired, there must be businesses. So if you are saying that in the meantime, my business suffers, we are not able to have the continuous income coming in, no cash flow, nothing of this. What I'm sharing with you is that you need to think very, very hard of why this happens to you. Okay, so let me come back to my screen first. So the question is that you need to think very hard of why this happens to you. Okay, so partly because most people were still living what I call the old economy or the old normal. Like, how many of you realize that there's such a thing called old normal? And the old normal basically talks about that we are living in a business world whereby people have connectivity and they are brick and mortar business. They are heavily invested, capital intensive industries. But the thing is this, the government actually said in this announcement that some businesses must learn how to go digital. So what has been mentioning, which is something that is pretty cool, is called digitalization and data. So how many of you realize that if you continue living in this world, the old normal doesn't come back anymore, and it's the new normal? So our team work very hard to share with people how we can put our business online, how to run our events virtually, how you are able to leverage the technology so that you are not only confined yourself to the local country, to your clients in your own market. What if you are able to reach out to different parts of the world? Globalization via digitalization. That's the key. And when you make business decision, you also want to make sure that your decision is informed. And what do I mean by that is you want to use data to drive your decision-making process. It's not about your gut. When I started my business, I don't have the capital infrastructure. I do not have the AI, which is very popular nowadays. I make decisions based on my gut. Understand? So how many of you actually make decisions based on your gut? But what if you are able to have simple artificial intelligence so that you know who are you reaching out to, whether this group of people you call the clients or prospects are able to be the one that you truly want to serve. So let me thank you. So I mean, by the way, is in the United States. So she is talking to us right now when she is in the United States. So this is just a proof that the world is really truly connected globally. That's how I see that. So coming back, what I see is that the world, through the data, through artificial intelligence, you are able to separate the clients that you truly want to work with, because some clients, honestly, you don't want to work with. And I do have clients who are called energy vampire. When I see them coming, I will just run away. Okay, so I know that this is something that I like, and through some of the data analysis last week, Mamie is in charge of the program, which I'm going to talk about this at the end of this. So that program helped me understand that I attract typically type 2 personality codes. Like my life, I like to work with all four. That is what I think. However, through the system analysis, I realized that I actually have been working very closely with 2 particular bank codes. Pretty interesting, huh? So the question is that now that I'm aware of who am I attracted to and which types of clients I want to work with more, I can channel my energy to serve this group even better. Like most people I work with, in fact, on Friday during my mastermind, I still heard the things about I want to serve the whole world. I want to serve everyone. Like how many of you have heard of this consistently? So if you are graduates of Video Hero, you have heard me and David said many times that you can't serve everyone. Okay, because that is not possible. You cannot serve everyone, because by serving everyone, you serve nobody. So I want you to remember you are not serving everybody. That doesn't work. Because by serving everyone, you serve nobody. In fact, you channel your energy to a variety of things you want to do, and eventually you don't have energy to keep it going in your business. Energy is the number one cost to your business, by the way. Okay? So I want to start with this conversation by showing you the map, the outlook of Singapore. It sounds very scary. At the same time, I feel great because I saw that the government is talking about digitalization, data. At the same time, some of the businesses have to go virtually. So this is actually the theme that I'm talking about: virtual business, digitalization, and data. So these 3 things, I hope some of you will bear in mind that in the future, the old way of running businesses will no longer be the case. You need to be adaptive. You need to be willing to open your heart, open your soul, and be willing to learn that new things that you may not have learned before. And I don't personally care how old you are. So if me, 51 years old, can learn new things, if you are younger than me, what's stopping you? And by the fact that I've got students who are 60 years old, 70 years old are learning, what's stopping you? So my point is that always be learning. The new things are always waiting for you to get. And how about the new skills? I said during the mastermind, what are the skills that you have? So some of you heard what I said in the Ask Jack 1 session in the afternoon. If you have an Unstoppable VIP, I said that the question for some of you may be, what skills do you have right now? Especially employees leaving the corporate world and start your own business. Some people just do not realize that they have no skills. So the point that you need to really must understand is, what are the skills that you have right now? Okay, you have to do assessing, point A I call it, and then you ask yourself what additional skills that you have to have. That is what we call the awareness. So for example, if let's say you are not very good at selling clothing, which is the number one skill Robert Kiyosaki said many times, then probably you need to master the closing skill and selling skill. Okay, so that is what I believe. The second skill that I also believe, which is very important, is copywriting. You may not realize the power of copywriting, because copywriting is not just about written words. It is also about spoken words. So the truth is, copywriting is everywhere. And the question is, how do you practice copywriting? I want to do another Facebook Live on this, because I would not want to spend the time talking about copywriting, or else it defeats the purpose of the Facebook Live tonight. Okay? So look at copywriting, look at closing and selling skill. These two are very critical in my opinion, especially for startup, because startups run out. Both biggest problem of startup is to get clients. Okay, how do you get clients? How do you get sales? So you need closing skill, you need copywriting skill. These are the two skills that you have to have. Okay, so let's move on to what I want to talk about. Robert Herjavec's 5 essential tips to sell tonight. So Robert is not a new name, but I know Robert's name for a long time. So, but for those of you who do not follow Shark Tank, allow me to just show you this simple biography from Wikipedia. So Robert is actually one of the sharks. He is a Canadian businessman, investor, and TV personality. He is quite a nice guy. He runs his own business in internet security, by the way. And he received in 2012 Ernst & Young Ontario Entrepreneur of the Year Award. He's the person sitting next to, he's always the one sitting on the right-hand side of the TV. And he is a very interesting man. So the question is that I chance upon what Robert says in terms of the 5 essential tips. So I want to talk about this tonight, and allow me to share with you how you can deconstruct Robert's tips using Banco. Okay? So if you want to search to find out more about Robert, by all means. Oh, by the way, I just happened to find out what Robert's Banco is. How many of you would love to see Robert's Banco? I haven't got him to sort the card. I don't know how. So I happened to chance upon Robert's profile, which is here, and this is him. Okay? So the funny thing is this. Something that you can look forward to, that is, by pressing a button, you might be able to know Robert's Banco straight away. So I'm not going to show you how it looks like now. I just want you to notice that there is an option on my LinkedIn. Okay, once it is launched, you realize that I just need to press this button. I will know Robert's Banco immediately. But I'm not going to show you it now because it's not officially launched. But what if I'm able to use the artificial intelligence technology? So for example, I just go to About. So this is some of you who are subscribers of AI. This is a revision for you. So you can see that I just copy and paste this part. This is his summary page. All I need to do is to press Command C. Then I'm able to copy this. What I do next is I go to Codebreaker Technology site. I go to the AI. And then depends on the internet, it should be good tonight. And all I need is just to Command V, paste it on my AI. And once I have done this, check everything is okay. And 1, 2, 3 decode. And what will happen is that the Banco is being reviewed. So this is Robert's Banco, by the way. So I'm not saying that Robert's Banco it must be It must be AB. The code, the AI returns AB and K. So something you may want to take note of is, number one, the summary may be written by Robert's PA or secretary or somebody, I don't know. So what he has written on the LinkedIn doesn't mean that it's written by Robert. But my argument is that, imagine I get somebody to write, I must be the one approving it. So the tonality, the choice of word should be something that Robert has approved. So chances are it might be close. Then of course you may ask, what else can I use to validate? Well, feel free to go to what he has written on the blog post, social media post, to validate this bank code. So the more you practice, the more data you have, the more accuracy you achieve. So my point is that this gives you the first insight. Imagine you have got no opportunity but only one chance meeting Robert, and you want to connect with him. You can't just go to the LinkedIn private message and say, hey Robert, how are you? And they hope that he'll respond to you. That doesn't work to me. So you want to speak to Robert using the bank code. Do the best guess do the best guess you can without figuring out too much about the bank code. You can use AI, artificial intelligence, to crack the code first, have some idea, and then what else do you need is just to look at other posts Robert has written and validate whether the bank code is AB. So then the question is that with the AB, how you should write, how you should communicate with Robert, there is a particular AB way. Okay, so we can talk about this in future Facebook Live, but I'm not going to spend more time. I want to actually focus on the 5 tips. So let's talk about the first tip. So I've got some index card for you in case you are not aware of the 5 tips. Number 1, the first thing you are selling is you. Pretty obvious, right? It's not about your product, it's not about your service, it's about you. The first thing you're selling is you. So my question to you is this: how do you sell yourself? Jack, what do you mean by that? How do you sell yourself? Well, I'm asking you, how do you sell yourself? Have you ever got a chance to look in front of the mirror, have a conversation with yourself? A classic example I made is someone asked me, I want to offer a high ticket program, $25,000 US. I have this on my podcast, by the way. It is a real lesson that I asked the person, my student, to go through the exercise. And I asked him, okay, you want to sell 25,000. Okay, good. So in the first place, are you able to buy from yourself $25,000 program? Do you believe that your program is worth $25,000 in the first place? And he said logically, yes. But you know what? The thing is that you make the buying decision not by logic. Okay, you make a decision by emotion. Thank you, Mamie. Thank you for confirmation. So because you buy based on emotion, what happens is that you need to go through the emotional exercise. So what I asked him to do is take one night, go to the bathroom, lock him up. No one is there. Make sure the bathroom has nobody. Take off his clothes. And I'm serious. This is actually captured in my podcast. It's one of the episodes. Take off the clothes, stand in front of the mirror, and start selling this $25,000 program. The feedback I got was he managed to take off his clothes, but he couldn't open his mouth to sell himself $25,000. He got the blockage here and here. So you see that when you talk to me, yeah, I have no problem with selling 25 because you are not attached to the situation right now. And what happens is that, okay, thank you, Deborah. Deborah is also commenting, yes, emotion leads our buying decision, correct. So thank you, Deborah, thanks for commenting. By the way, Deborah is also one of our certified trainers with Codebreaker Technologies. Wow, tonight I've got Codebreaker Technologies trainers supporting me. Thank you very much. Okay, coming back. So he actually told me logically he can do it. But when I put him through this pressure, we call perturbation, it's like I turn on the heat to help him see, okay, now is the real deal. Are you really able to sell? So I said, if you can't sell yourself $25,000 program, how the hell do you sell your program $25,000 to other people and make other people buy? It's not about other people. So when first tip that I actually share with people as well is Robert's tip. That is whenever you are selling anything, it's not about your product, your service. You have to convince yourself you are the first person to buy, which is one of the reasons why some people are struggling with that, what I call the selling or offering high ticket items. So I share with you a story. Some of you may not have watched my Facebook Live for the last 2 months. I share with you one of my stories. So back in 2005, I was on the verge of buying a 25,000 US dollars program. And that is a trading class that I had a chance to learn from my mentor for 1 whole year. But I have to fly to the United States 7 times. So I'm from Singapore. Imagine from Singapore to United States 7 times in a year is crazy. So that is actually a big deal for me. And at that time, the US dollars to Sing dollars is 1 US to 1.68 Sing dollars. Today, 1 US dollars is only 1.4. So in 2005, 1 US dollars cost more to me. But what happened was that I didn't actually think too much, because the knowledge part of me said I didn't need to think too much. I look at the cost and I look at the return on investment. I look at the benefit and cost. In fact, I was so happy to sign the check, wire it over, and I paid for the program. And I have never looked back. Today, I'm so happy because I have a trading skill that is with me. I don't talk about it online because I don't teach it, but I have this trading skill with me for more than 15 years. So no matter whether the market is up, down, sideways, I have the ability to make money from the market. So I'm very happy when I make that decision. It changed my life. So as I look back 15 years ago, that was a great decision. And I said to myself, am I able to sell $25,000 program now? Of course, no problem, because I have been subject of that 25,000 US dollars in just seconds. So the highest hurdle that I have so far is 50,000. So I have not sold on myself $100,000 program yet, but on B2B, of course, I have sold more than that. From the B2B side, I've done it more than that. Oh, thank you very much, maybe. Yeah. So the thing is this: when I share with people, in order for you to offer a high ticket item, the first thing you need to be convinced to yourself is are you emotionally willing to buy from yourself? If you don't, then there's a problem. Of course, you may say, well, I have not bought 25,000 US dollars. How the hell do I sell $25,000 thing? I'm saying to you, it doesn't matter. It's the emotional connection. Are you aware of your buying, your motivation to buy something? Like, why do you have this urge to pay, right? So Deborah says you can't sell a bigger price than you have bought. That's true. That's true. So if I have bought $50,000 program, and am I able to sell $50,000 program? Under the first tip, the answer is yes. I passed the first test because I have sold myself this. The next thing that I want to talk about is, okay, assuming that you manage to sell yourself, you convince that you are offering the best program, best product, best service. Robert's second tip is this: in the closing call, listen more than you talk. Okay, so he didn't use the word hear, H-E-A-R. He talked about listen. It's very interesting to know that sales professionals talk most of the time. You know why? The metaphor I gave is, if you feel free, use my metaphor example. By all means, you can use it, not steal it, but you can actually use it. Imagine you are holding an apple, okay? Holding an apple, and you just don't care what the prospect says or do. You just ask him, I don't care, open your mouth, I shove the apple to your throat, swallow it immediately. So that is what we call the selling exercise. What happens is that the sales professional simply force the person to buy something that the person doesn't want. So the point is that you want to sell things that people want. But the thing is that how do you know what the person wants? The tip is to listen more than you talk. So what do I mean by that? Very simple. You ask question. Is that all? Ada? Not just ask question. Observe the body language. Observe the tonality. All counts. 93% of our conversation or communication is non-verbal, by the way. Some of you who know NLP, or maybe you have learned it from some other people who talk about NLP. You know that words is 7% of the communication, whereas 55% is body language and 38% is tonality. And interestingly, I got a knowledge personality challenge us one time. I think your research is wrong. It's not 7%, it's not 38. So be careful when you throw this number, because I got one objection in my life. The person actually countered me and said that 7, 38, and 55 are wrong. Okay, so that is one of weird example. But generally speaking, our communication is really non-verbal by nature. So when you listen, you are not listening just for the sake of listening. That's why we do not use the word hear. We use listen, because listen is using your heart to listen. It is a very important skill. Whether you're a consultant, you're coaches, you are a coach, you're a consultant, you're a trainer, you're a speaker, your science of listening is very important. Listening is not through here, it's here. Because what you need is to find out what's the mood level, what is the emotion that person is going through. You need to take it on board, capture that moment, and throw it back to the person. And when I say throw it back, of course, I'm not saying you throw the tangible item back, but you are using these words, emotion, and to confirm something, to ask for something, and then the person will feel connected with you. So this is what we call in Banco the science of personality intelligence and sales intelligence, because you are using your value through your listening skill, be able to have a conversation and put whatever of the values of the other person into a selling side, into a selling situation. So in terms of Banco, this is the combination of personality and sales intelligence. Some of you who have heard my presentation Unstoppable, I talk about personality and sales intelligence. Okay, so the next thing we talk about is, after you have listened, you ask questions, you observe the body language, you observe the tonality, and then now the third thing is this. The third thing is you need to know who to sell to. So in my opinion, this tip should come earlier than this one, because listen more than you talk assumes that you know who you are talking to. So I believe that this tip should come first. Know who to sell to, and then you have a selling conversation. And what you do is to apply the listening technique. So the 2 and 3 from Robert's notes, I feel that there should be a reverse order. Okay, anyway, so know who you sell to, which is what I said at the beginning. You need to know who you enjoy working with the most. Now, I attract these 2 types of clients quite a lot in my life. Surprisingly, my Banco is knowledge and blueprint. Okay, do I enjoy working with the blueprint and knowledge? I'm not going to judge or guess. This is what we call business intelligence. I'm not judging, I'm not guessing. I somehow, when I come out to do my training and my speaking gigs, I attract these 2 groups of people most of the time. There was a story that I can share. Again, it's a story about one training that I did in East Malaysia, Kuching. And what happened was that I did the Banco training there. In the afternoon, I asked, okay, how do you find the training so far? And then they say, awesome, that's good. Okay, so by the way, can anybody guess what Jet's Banco is? Okay, that is just a question for them to see whether they know my Banco. And at that time, I haven't even talked about my Banco. I'm asking them to guess. Okay, so what was happening is that they said, the first one they said is Jet is nurturing. So if you know me well, nurturing is my lowest in Banco. But this one is that Jet's primary code is nurturing. I say thank you. I just say thank you. So there was a okay, so I think the broadcast is continuing. Awesome. Okay, so the thing is this, there may be a new broadcast coming in, so if you missed the broadcast earlier, I mean there's some interruption just now. So back to the story, Jet is primarily nurturing. I say good, can you make another guess? And then the second guess was action personality. And my staff at the back were laughing like hell. Honestly, they were laughing like hell, because they know that my bankos are this. But then what the participants said is like this. So I said to myself, Jack, you have done a good job, because you are able to connect with them, and they thought that you are caring for them, you are pushing them to take action, you have done a good job. So my point is that you are able to evolve from one banco to the other banco. Just because my primary banco is knowledge, it doesn't mean that I am a hardcore knowledge all the time. Because when I'm speaking to a client and I know that the client is not high knowledge, then guess what? I need to evolve. I need to adapt. I need to shift my personality so that the key thing is not about me anymore, it's about them. In Unstoppable, I've been repeating myself literally 10 times. It's not about me, it's about them. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because now the third tip, once again, is know who I sell to. The thing is this, I know I can connect with this group very easily now. Why? Because through trialing and testing and through more and more experiential experiments, I was able to connect with the nurturing action. So I'm no longer the old Jack whereby I can only talk logically and talk about the system, the science, and nothing else. So this is what I call at the beginning, you remember I said, it's very important for you not to, okay, I'm a KBAN, then what? Because this is just the first step. Okay, knowing who you are, that's the first step. Personality intelligence says that at least now you know who you are. But the key is how you apply. So therefore, through the mastering of banco, crack the code, speak the code, live the code. So I am living my code, and that's how I get this feedback that Jack, you are nurturing an action personality high. I said, okay. And it's not just one-off. I then happened to ask another time in another training, and what happened was that I got the same response. And my staff were laughing at me and say, Jack, time is the second time you got the same feedback. I say, oh well, because my training style has evolved over time, that is no longer giving them the information. Because notice one thing, when you do training, it's not about the information, because information is already overloaded. On my eCamp tonight, I don't know why, but I'll just keep going. So the thing is that with my training, I'm not just giving an information. All I'm doing is that I'm giving them the experience. Because like my teacher Alex Mandossian says, experience is not the best teacher. Experience is the only teacher. So our job as a trainer, speaker, and leader in front of the room is to give them the experience. And how do you give your experience to them to create a transformation in the room is what they will enjoy, what they love. And by that, when they see that they feel that you're caring for them because you really want them to succeed, the nurturing will show up. But if you are just like me, the old me, my job is to give you the 3 steps to success. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is just information in a point form. At the end, you will get the feedback. It's good sharing. But have I learned anything? I don't know, nothing. So again, using Banco helps me understand how I can connect with people I truly enjoy working with. And by the way, and why do I say that I truly enjoy working with these people? Because most entrepreneurs I know, I won't say all, okay, I'm not here making offense to certain people. I'm just saying that my observation is that in order to be entrepreneur, these 2 cards actually give me the clue. A lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs are either action nurturing or nurturing action somehow. So when my market is working with entrepreneurs, logically you'll be this. Then the question is that how many friends in my circle who are entrepreneurs are by nature KB? Honestly, I can't find anyone. Because KB by right is more suitable in the corporate world. That's the fact. Again, there will be exception. I'm just giving a general norm. I hardly find any KB in my circle who are entrepreneurs, unless they are trained like myself. So the personal development journey that I personally have gone through allow me to be able to connect with this group of people and working with them create transformational results for them. So it's really through education and experience over time to help me to become who I am today. Okay, so again, Banco can be explained, can be used to explain, okay, I do not need to work with everyone, I just need to work with somebody I enjoy. And you know what? When you truly enjoy working with that group of people, it's easier to sell. Because at least there won't be any resistance. The first hurdle is your ability to sell to yourself. The second hurdle is your ability to break the wall, break the resistance, and go all the way. But in the first place, the resistance is intangible. It's an invisible resistance, because when you see the person's face, I don't really want to talk to you. So resistance is up. Then how are you going to sell? But you know that the person is somebody you truly enjoy working with, then the resistance is off. You have a higher chance of success to persuade the person to buy from you. I'm not saying that you will be successful eventually, but another resistance is off. Does that make sense? All right. So then the fourth thing is this. The fourth thing is understand. This is the one that triggers me the most. Like the banco trainers, when you look at this, understand what motivates the other side to buy. It's like, it's not about what we sell. It's about why they buy. So suddenly in my mind, I said, oh my God, he's talking about the banco. Because we teach people why our customers say yes to us, why they buy. We don't teach people how to sell. Like if you want to learn how to sell, you can learn from Blair Singer, you can learn from Brian Tracy, you can learn from Kevin Harrington. There's so many people out there who are teaching selling. We are the only one I know teaching people why the customers buy. So then the question is that, okay, so I need to know who they are in terms of the banco. Because if I know the banco, the primary is blueprint, okay, then I know what I need to give them in order for them to nod the head and say, yeah, I like it. If let's say it's action personality, I need to have another script. So in our training, we say that in order for you to be successful in your presentation, you can't just have one presentation. Because when you have one presentation, the opportunity cost is that you are losing money on the table by not being able to connect the other three personalities. So that is what I mean by, in order to have a presentation that is effective, it's not about just one presentation. You need to have 4 presentations. And by the way, when you are selling your program, when you're selling your product or service, if you are selling to tell people that, oh, I've got a very nice blueprint for you, and this is a step-by-step process, you know what? Before you finish your presentation, you shut these people down immediately, because the action personality says, can you please stop talking about this boring stuff? Can you just go to the bottom line and tell me what is it about so that I can make the quick decision fast? All right, thank you. If you do not do that, they will be the first one to just run away. You lose 25%. Then, when you continue your presentation, oh, we have got the structure, the system, the process. Then this group will say, who can I help? You are talking about your system, but who are the people that can be used and you can help? I'm not clear, because for them they're people oriented. They want to know that what is in for them. When I use your product, your service, am I able to help other people? Right? So by just focusing on a system, then you are turning this group of people off. Then guess what? 50% of the potential clients have run away. So now you're down to the last category, this one. So if you don't know what this guy is looking for, this guy is looking for one thing. Stop talking about it. Can you give me your catalog? Can you give me your menu? Let me read. I'll come back to you. And then you say, no. You must trust. You must trust. I've been doing this for a long time. And you know what? The system is proven. I don't care. I want your product catalog. I want to study. I want to do my research. And you know what? You don't have this. Thank you very much. Bye. So by using one script, you literally have got rid of 3 personality, walk away, and you have no sales to these people. So just now I said that you might be working with these two group of people, but if your primary banco is a blueprint, for example, then what happens is that how do you connect with them? You want to work with them, you love to work with them, but you don't know how to speak to them, convince them. You don't understand what motivates them to say yes to you. You don't learn their presentation to present your product, your service their way, not your way. Then guess what? These 2 groups are out. So you know what? The reason why people struggle in presentation is because they have not been exposed to the thing that we said in our training, that you must have 4 presentations, not just 1. And in a training setting, you need to move around 4 languages at the same time in the room. So the key is you need to master this as a language. In other words, you can't just learn something new day one hoping that you become a master. That's why we emphasize the thing that you need to speak the code. Speak the code. It's not just to learn, okay, my bank code is A, K, and B. Okay, good. But how does it apply? You need to learn how to speak the other person's code, not your code. Knowing yours is good. That's why one student asked me, just happened over last week, that classic objection, what's the difference between DISC and bank? I was like, oh my God, it happened again. Every year, we literally have to deal with this objection, the bank and the this, what's the difference? So I have literally encountered this objection many times. It's very easy for me. So we say that DISC and BANK, they are all 4-letter words. That's awesome. They are the same, only completely different. The reason why it's different is because this focuses on psychology. But guess what bank is looking at? Bank is looking at biology, the science of buying behavior. So ask yourself, is this looking at buying behavior? No. There you go. They are different. They are different. So this is why I said knowing this can be very useful only if you master it. Like knowing is one thing, but if you know it and you do not practice it, it's just like learning, getting a book. Just getting a book. Okay, I know the book title, but if I don't read it, I don't know the content. And if I read through the content and I do not practice what I learned from the book, it means nothing to you. It's a total waste of time. How many of you find that makes sense to you? Right? So I found that this is very important. Understand what motivates the other side. What the other side will say yes to you. And the problem is this. Why I have this presentation tonight, this Facebook Live tonight is, in that particular Facebook group, they talk about, okay, we need to ascertain, we need to find out what's the motivation of them saying yes. Yeah, I all know that we need to find out, but the question is that they don't have the tool. Then how do you find out the motivation? So I can say, well, without the tool, you can guess, which is not cool, because you can guess one time. If it is wrong, you may lose the deal. Like Kevin Harrington's deal, I've talked about it, it's unstoppable. I only have one time connecting with Kevin Harrington. If I miss it, the deal is off the table. So you can guess, but in some situation, I can't afford guessing. Okay? So you want to use tool to increase the odds to success. That's my belief. And the reason why we have these two, like the bank value cards, we have the artificial intelligence, is to allow us to increase our chance of success. That's the whole point. Sometimes you just have one chance. Sometimes you may need multiple points of contact in order to close the deals. But knowing the bank code, knowing what motivates the other person to say yes to you, can streamline your points of contact. Maybe we can reduce the contact point and get the sales much faster. This is something we also teach in sales velocity, because the biggest problem of a sales cycle, the sales velocity, to how to exponentially grow your sales, is your sales cycle. By reducing the sales cycle, it can increase your velocity in sales exponentially. There's a formula on this. If you are interested, you comment velocity. I'm happy to talk about this in another Facebook Live. All right? So the final thing I want to talk about is number 5. This is called kids. It's not kids that way. It's called keep it simple. That's another point that I make in Unstoppable. That is, sales is just a conversation. Sounds easy. It's easy, right? You need to keep it simple, by the way. Why? Because if you are complicating a story, if you are complicating the conversation, and the person, the other end, constantly look at you and say, I don't understand what you are talking about. But I feel embarrassed to let you know that I don't understand your conversation. Or, you know what, your conversation is very boring. Can you just shut up? I want to end the call now. So if you complicate this, then it is hard. Some people focus on this thing called script. What do you mean by scripts? That is, you have some questions, like the suggested question on a card, on a piece of paper. So what you do is you just ask question based on the script. Mr. Prospect, how are you today? Mr. Prospect, we have a special offer for you to consider tonight. would you be interested? Mr. Prospect, okay, how should I read this? Oh yeah, there's a question. Okay, you say out there's a question. Mr. Prospect, assuming you are interested, would you want to pay by cash or pay by credit card? This is called, you can't have a conversation that is scripted. I am a firm believer that when I close high ticket, I never ever use script. Why? Because the moment you're looking at the script, you lose the connection with the person straight away. Number two, you focus on the script, focusing on what is the next question you ask, and you didn't pay attention to the other guy, which is rule number 2. You need to listen. You need to listen. You cannot just look at your script and ask questions like that. Okay? And then sales is a conversation. In other words, people struggle with what questions to ask. I don't have that problem. Why? Because remember I said earlier, I'm listening to what they say, capture the words and phrases they use, repackage it, and throw it back to them. Somehow this is because of my NLP training. Master practitioner level learns how to do this thing called recycle the words and throw it back to them. This is a master practitioner's skill in NLP for those who are interested in NLP. I'm an NLP trainer, by the way, so I'm expected to be able to do this with finesse. All right. So the question I have is, if you are looking at the script or a Q&A, your sales will be very difficult because you are making it complicated. Sales is a conversation. When you're truly at present with that person, you truly enjoy the conversation, you focus on them, not on you, you will literally know what's the next question you ask. Just trust me on this. It's hard to say to you, I closed $20,000 deal without any script just because it is a conversation. But of course the conversation has a strategy. You cannot just anyhow fire questions to that person. There is a sequence of questions you have to ask, something that I cover in my masterclass. So for those who have embraced my our unsinkable offer, you have access to my masterclass. Then in the masterclass, I will talk about the sequence. But I want to keep it very simple for all of you. Sales is just a conversation, which you truly enjoy and be present. It's very easy to say, very hard to practice. Why? Because when you are in this conversation, a call or Zoom, what happens is that you are worried about you. You focus on you, you don't focus on the other person. You are worried about what is the next question. Like, what if the person says something that I don't anticipate? How should I counter? Because when your focus is all about you, you lose the connection. You make the whole sales conversation very difficult. That is what I understand. I've been observing. Like my closest told me, it's very hard to ask the next question. I say, what did you focus on? Did you focus on yourself? Yeah, that's why you find it hard, because it is not a dialogue. It's a dialogue between you and you. It's not a dialogue between you and the other person. All right. So I hope that these 5 simple steps by Robert helps you understand the science of closing sales. Requires, number 1, you have to be convinced that you can sell to yourself the product, the service, the program, whatever you're selling. You have to be the first buyer, at least at emotional level. You can't sell something to other people when you don't believe it in the first place. That's why in bank, we say that you can offer bank as a product, but we want you to be part of us first. If you are not even live the code, walk the talk, then how the hell do you expect people believe you? All right. So that's number 1. Number 2, listen, not hear, and speak less, listen more, ask question, and learn how to ask quality question. The good quality questions allows you to provide your prospect more clarity. That is always the case. I talk about this on my Facebook for 1 whole week. The science of asking good quality question. The good quality question leads you to more clarity, whereas the bad question creates more confusion. All right, so think about what question you have to ask. And also take note of what is the objective of asking certain questions. Are you asking for the motivation or asking for specific details? the chunking up and the chunking down, something we teach in speed coding. It's one of our signature courses in Banco, so we talk about that. All right. Number 3 is know who you sell to, which I believe should be the second step, not the third step. So this should be the third one instead of second one. This is the second. Know who you sell to, because the key is you need to know with whom you enjoy working with the most, so that you have the energy to have a conversation with that person. You do not want to sell something to the wrong crowd. Like my example is that you never want to sell your awesome hamburger recipe to the vegetarians. It doesn't make sense, right? You need to learn this. Number 4, this is the key. Understand what motivates the other side to say yes to you. What is the motivation? The buying decision is based on motivation. So for all 4 Banco, plus the Banco personality, they have their motivation, they have the values. Like each of them is driven by a different set of values or motivators. The question is that, are you aware? But if you are not aware of the Banco to start with, then of course you can't get anything. Which is the reason why through the recent program that I have personally gone through, the intelligent operating system, I have changed my way of collecting data now. Whenever people join my Facebook group, I will enforce it from this point onward. Everyone who join my Facebook group or go to subscribe to my list, they have to crack the code. If they haven't cracked the code, they can't join. I don't care. If they refuse to crack the code, they will never be my client. I need to know your Banco. Why? Because that's how I can communicate with you. All my mastermind trainings, I actually put all the people to the Banco test, Banco assessment, and then I need them to show their Banco in front of the room, right? So thank you, Mamie. This is the iOS coaching by you. So I make it a force requirement now. Thank you, and enjoy your Sunday morning. All right. So I enforce this now. So that's how I'm able to know the Banco of my clients. And once I know the Banco of my clients, I will be in a much better position to have a meaningful, effective conversation with them. It doesn't mean that I have to close them all the time. I want a more intimate, deeper level conversation, because that's how I can truly understand what drives them to make certain decisions, and ask myself, am I able to provide the service to them and help them solve their problems? This is what entrepreneurship is about. You are there to solve their problems or find the solution to help them solve the problem. That's my definition of entrepreneurship. And finally, this is the key. Keep it simple and straightforward. Sales is a conversation. This is really, like Mamie says, the biggest is selling is a conversation. Coaching, consulting, selling, persuasion, negotiation is all about conversation. The question is that, are you an effective communicator? That's why Banco is all about communication. Are you a powerful communicator? You don't overpower the other person. That's not what I mean. But how can you create a conversation that can help you achieve your outcome, your objective? Not just yours, but the other guy, the other prospect, or the other party to the conversation, so that you can become a win-win situation. And if let's say the conversation has to go through 45 minutes, would that be okay to have this conversation even shorter than 45? What if you can do it in 10 minutes? It saves time and derive the same result, which is what we call optimizing your business and maximize your result. Achieving the same objective in less time, improve your productivity. Maximize your productivity in less time is the true science of a business. Does that make sense? Okay, Ming is here. So Ming, we have got another trainer tonight. I'm very happy that I've got a few certified trainers here tonight. I don't know why I attract you guys to come on Sunday evening Singapore time. Thank you for supporting me. So with that, I want to just talk about the next step for some of you. So for those who have not cracked the code, like I said, after the Facebook Live, I will put a link there for you to crack the code. So this is the 24-page report. Please do not go and crack 24 times, because the more you crack, the more confused you will be. because you have not trained. So by having the report alone, one based on your preference is good enough. Don't go ahead and crack 24 codes, because it's just information overload. I guarantee you'll be more confused. Okay, so please promise, do not abuse it. Just crack the code one time. Number two, once you have this report, the system will let me know that you have cracked the code. I'm going to put another link on my Facebook Live tonight. There is a group, a new private Facebook group that I set up. That group, what I'm doing is that I will encourage those who have cracked the code. So this is a new initiative I just came up last week. You are going to crack the code, and then you can join the Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, there will be a question asking you what is your bank code. So you better have your bank code. If you don't have the bank code, you have to crack the code. And once you crack the code, you can answer the question, what is your bank code? By answering this question, I will admit you to the group. And what's the benefit of that? Okay, you may ask, what's the benefit? The benefit number one is that I will create Facebook Live in the group. Not here, not public service, but in the group, I will do this debrief. This is, I call the masterclass debrief. What is masterclass debrief, you might ask? I will help you understand what this report actually means to you. It's like you see the four-letter word, like you don't know what they stand for, and you find it hard to explain, no problem. My job is to deconstruct, debrief the report for you. And I will see how many people are in the new Facebook group, and then I will do the debrief on a regular basis. So stay tuned for that. Okay? So this is my new service called Debrief Your Report. Something new, but in order to debrief the report, I need to have your bank code. Otherwise, I can't do it. Alright? So please remember, I'll give you the link to join my Facebook group, but you need to crack your code so that I know your bank code to admit you to join this Facebook group. Some of you asked me in my Unstoppable that I talk about the trifecta, which is the personality, sales, and emotional intelligence. I want to let you know that we do have something called intelligence operating system, something that is a result of our 4-week masterclass back in March and April time, whereby you've seen there are 6 levels of intelligences. I want to let you know that Sherry Tree, the founder and chairman of Codebreaker Technology, is doing a class this coming Friday morning, 8 a.m. Singapore and Malaysian time. Okay, you're from Singapore, Malaysia, it's Friday morning, 8 a.m. Again, I'll put a link under this Facebook Live. Go and listen. You don't need to buy anything. If you feel that you don't want to buy anything, don't leave your wallet in your drawer, okay? You don't need to buy anything. But most importantly, you can listen to what these 6 intelligences are about. So the 6 intelligences are personality, sales, emotional, artificial, business, and spiritual intelligence. There are 6 levels. The question is that where are you right now in these 6 levels of intelligences? And through the presentation, you will understand how to work on each of these intelligences so that you are able to excel, not just in your business, but also in your personal life, your family relationship. It's a comprehensive assessment. It's not just about your business, it's about everything surrounds you. So I encourage you, it's a free webinar by Sherry, and go and listen. Don't buy anything if you don't feel like buying. But of course, if you want to buy something, I won't stop you. Okay, go ahead and do it. But the point is that this is a revision for some of you who have gone through the 4-week masterclass. But if you have not been exposed to the masterclass, which is gone, there's no more, then I will encourage you to just go for this webinar on the coming Friday at 8 a.m. Singapore Malaysian time, Friday 19 June. So for those US, it's 18 June, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard and 5 p.m. Pacific time. So our time zone is 8 a.m. Okay, so you can listen to this 6 level of intelligences, have a deeper understanding of what I cover in Unstoppable, and also understand how we can use artificial intelligence to make a buying decision. How are we able to use data to make informed business decision? And last but not least, it's not about the money. Wealth doesn't only come from money. Wealth comes from different levels. Wealth also comes from your relationship. Wealth is about your spirit, your mission, your reason why you do what you do. So at the end of the day, I want you to understand that Banco is not just about sales. Banco is covering literally different aspects. It's a very, very deep and profound tool. Unlike MBTI, which I'm certified. By the way, I can train this as well. I can train this and MBTI as well. But the comprehensiveness of Banco make me convinced that this is really the tool that I've decided to master. All right? So with that, I'm into 1 hour, so I want to end the Facebook Live. And thank you for whoever supported me tonight, and I know you know who you are. And I want you to do this. Share with me if you're watching live, what is the one biggest takeaway that you have learned in this Facebook Live. That would be great, so that I know I've done something for you. If you're watching replay, please hashtag replay so that I know you have watched the replay. And again, I want you to share with me one biggest takeaway you have gotten from this Facebook Live. Okay? So with that, I will leave 3 links at the bottom. One is Crack the Code. Second one is my new Facebook group for me to debrief all these Banco report. Number 3 is Sherry Tree's upcoming webinar this coming Friday at 8 a.m. So 3 links I'll provide at under this Facebook Live. Okay, so with that, thank you for watching. Have a good Sunday morning for my friends from North America, for my friends from Southeast Asia. Have a good Sunday evening. I'll see you next Sunday, 9 p.m. The topic of the next Facebook Live will be announced about 6 hours beforehand. All right. So with that, Jack Wong here signing off. Certified and licensed trainer with Banco. Hope that you have an awesome evening or daytime wherever you are. Stay healthy, stay safe, and make lots of engagement on your new business venture wherever you are. All right. So with that, thank you very much, and bye for now.